forgot to put Joshua chapter. What we at? Joshua chapter 15 and 16. So hold on, YouTubers. I have to put this in on my Facebook page too. So you guys got to hear and see my pretty face a little bit longer. All right, there's Facebook too. YouTube, Facebook, how y'all doing? God bless you all. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll smack you. My son's laughing at me. I'm not feeling good. Be quiet. I must have ate something weird. Anyway, we're got well here live. And we're in Joshua chapter 15 and 16. So it was So it was the lot that the tribe of children of Judah, according to their families, the border of Edom from the wilderness of Zin, the southward, well, was the extreme southern border, and their southern border began at the shore of the Salt Sea from the Bay of the Face southward. Then it went, excuse me, nope, didn't come out. Then it went from the southern side of the extent of Ark Rabim, passed along to Zin, ascend on the south side of Kadesh Barnea, passed along the Herzon, went up to Edar, and went around to, excuse me, Karkay. From there, it passed towards Azam. I knew it was coming, and went out to the brook of Egypt. Ooh, excuse me again. And the border ended at the sea. And usually, when it said at the sea, it's talking about the Mediterranean, the big sea, the Mediterranean Sea that borders all of that area of Asia or Middle East, all of North Africa, and all of South Europe. That's a pretty big sea. This shall be your southern border. The eastern border was from the Salt Sea as far as the mouth of Jordan, and the border of the north quarter began at the Bay of the sea at the mouth of the Jordan. The border went up from Beth Hogol and past the north of Beth Arabah, and the border went up toward the stone of Bohan, the son of Reuben. Then the border went up toward Debris in the valley of Anchor, and it turned toward northward toward Gilgal, which is before the ascent of Adumim, which is in the south side of the valley. The border continued toward the waters of En Shemesh at the end of En Rogel, and we'll hit Endor. And it's actually in here somewhere. And I told the kids when I said Endor, I said it's not Endor where the Wookiees live. Not Wookiees. What are those creatures? Ewoks. We haven't got to Endor yet, but it's in here. It's in the Bible. That's probably where he got it from. He probably got Endor from the Bible. And the border went up from the valley of the son of Hinnon to the southern slope of Jebusite city, which is Jerusalem. The border went up to the top of the mountain that lies before the valley of Hinnon westward, which is at the end of the valley of Rephaim northward. Then the border went around the top of the hill of the fountain of the water of Nephtoah and extended to the cities of Mount Ephraim, and the border went around to Bela, which is Kirjath Jearim. Then the border turned westward to Bela, to Mount Seir, passed along the side of Mount Jearim on the north, which is Chislan, went down from Beth Shemesh and passed to Timnah. And the border went out from the side of Ekron northward, and the border went around to Shekron, passed along the mountain of Mount Bala, and extended to Jebnel, and the border ended at the sea. The west border was at the coastland of the Great Sea. The Great Sea. Every time they say the Great Sea, that's the Mediterranean. This is the boundary of the children of Judah all around according to their families. Now Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, he gave a share among the children of Judah according to the commandment of the Lord to Joshua, namely Kirjath Arba, which is Hebron, Arba, which was the father of Anak. Caleb drove out the three sons of Anak from there Sheshaiah, Ahanim, and Telemaiah, the children of Anak. Then he went up from there to the Ahanim to Debri, formerly the name of Debri. The buyer was Kirjath Sephar. The buyer. The buyer? The buyer. I think it's the buyer. And Caleb, he who attacked Kirjath Sephar, stopped and takes it to him. I will give Akshay, I think, my daughter as wife. So Othniel, the son of Kenzai, the brother of Caleb, took it and gave him Kashay, his daughter, as wife. Now it was so when she came to him that she persuaded him to ask her father for a field. So she dismounted from her donkey, and Caleb said to her, "What do you wish?" She asked, "Give me a blessing, since you have given me the land in the south, and since you have given me the land in the south, give me also springs of water." So he gave her the upper springs and the lower springs. Did I already do that? I want Caleb. Now we're back in Judah again. The land of Judah. Then they go to Caleb. Then they go back to the city of Judah. This was the inheritance of the tribe of Judah, children of Judah, according to their families. The cities and limits and the tribe of children of Judah toward the border of Edom, the south, were Kedzel, Eder, Jager, Canaan, Dimone, Ab, Ad, Adadai. I don't know how to say that one. I can't stand it when it has D-A-D. It's A-D-A-D-A-D-H. A-D-A-D-A-D-A-H. Kadesh, Hezer, Ethnan, Ziph, Telim, Beloth, Hazar, had eight Ta. That's another one of those ones that's weird. Kirath, because it's just Hazar Shalom, Shirdad, Jaffa. Don't do that to your phone. I only got 24% left. Bela is Jim, Ismail, Ethelad, Cheso, Susanna, Sinzan, Shilhim, and Ayan, and Rimmon. All the cities are 29. Estel, Zorai, Ashne, Noah, in Ganim, Zippu, Enam, Jermoth, and most of these cities were named after these tribal or these leaders of their families. Azekah, Sheremin, Adonith, Ditham, Jabera, and Gedir Othan, 14 cities and their villages. Zenan, Hadesh, Migdal Gad, Deline, Mispay, Jockville, Lankish, Bozketh, Eglin, Cabin, Limesh, Kithlish, Joderoth, Beth Dagon, Name, and Mechkaday, 16 cities and their villages. Ledney, Ethner, Ashen, Jephthay, Ashbabe, Nezib, Calais, Eknit, Ekzib, and Mar Marisha, 9 cities and their villages. Ekron and its towns and villages. From Ekron to the sea, all that lay near Ashdod with their villages, Ashdod with its towns and villages, Gaza with its towns and villages, as far as the brook of Egypt and the great sea with its coastline. And in the mountain country, sure got a lot going on here with this one. Shemar, Jatar, Sokal, Dane, Kirjith, Sene, which is Debris or Debir, Anab, Ishtama, and Anim, Goshen, Holon, and Gilo, 11 cities with their villages, Arab, Dume, Eshen, Jenu, Beth Timpu, Epake, Humte, Kirjath, Arba, which is Hebron, and Zior, 9 cities and their villages, Maon, Carmel, Ziph, Juto, Jezreel, Chokdim, or Jokdim, I should say, Zanoah, Cain, Zabi, and Timnahs, 10 cities and their villages, Helhu, Beth Zur, Kebdor, Marath, Beth Anath, and Elkton, 6 cities and their villages, Kirjath Baal, which is Kirjath Jearim, and Reba, 2 cities and their villages, in the wilderness, Beth Araba, Midden, Shikeh, Nibshan, the city of Salt, and En Gedi, 6 cities and their villages. As far as the Jebusites and the inhabitants of Jerusalem and children of Judah could not drive them out, but the Jebusites drove the children into Judah and Jerusalem to this day. And that was another of the mistakes that Jerusalem had about not driving out. I'm glad 16 short. Good grief, 16's really short. The lot fell on children of Joseph from the Jordan by Jericho to the waters of Jericho in the east, to the wilderness that goes up from Jericho through the mountains of Bethel. Then went out from Bethel to Luz, passed along to the border of Archachites at Tareth, and went down westward to the border of the Jebusites as far as the border of the lower Beth Horon to Jesser, and it ended at the sea. So the children of Joseph, Manasseh, and Ephraim took their inheritance. The border of the children of Ephraim, according to their families, was thus: the border of their inheritance on the east side of Ataroth Adar, as far as upper Beth Horon. The border went out toward the sea, in the north side of Mech, Methah, Eighth. Oh Lord, help me, God. Some of these Hebrew names I can get, some of them I can't. Methath. I don't know. Close enough. Then the border went around eastward to Tanith Shiloh and passed by the east of the Janohai. Then it went down from Jehonai to Ataroth and Nera, reached to Jericho, and came out at the Jordan. The border went out from Tapul westward to the brook Canaan and ended up the sea. This was the inheritance of the children of Ephraim according to their families. The separate cities of the children of Ephraim were among the inheritance of the children of Manasseh. All the cities and their villages, and they did not drive out the Canaanites who dwelt in Gezer, but the Canaanites dwelled among the Ephraimites to the day they had become forced laborers. To this day, it had become forced laborers. And when they say to this day, it's to this day that he wrote what he wrote. And tomorrow we'll get Ephraim and Manasseh and the other half of Manasseh and the land of Benjamin and and all the other lands. We'll be speaking about the lands for a while. And yeah, it gets kind of like you're thinking, oh, this is kind of redundant. Why do we have to know about this? It's good to know where God placed his people for one reason. It shows that you understand why they had these lands and why they lost it. It's also good to know it for historical value as well. I like that part of it. But when we get out of Joshua, we'll be getting into some of the laws with the Kings and Chronicles, and of course we'll have excuse me. Then we'll have let's see where we're at after Joshua. We'll have Judges, and this is I love Judges because it has more lawful things that came out of Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And then we get to Ruth, and I love doing Ruth because it tells how you can live a very humble life, and God will bless you for it. Then we get into where Samuel comes in. And Samuel, I'm going to say this real quick, and then we're going to get on. We're going to end it. And I'm going to say this again when we get to Samuel. Why was it named Samuel? When Samuel's only in the first like 10 or 12, some odd number of chapters in the first Samuel. He's not in the second Samuel except to allude to him a couple times. But the actually should be. And it's unstable, so I guess this is it. God bless you all. Have a Jesus. My phone did that earlier.